Oh, this is kind of funny. We are so in our heads, aren't we? Um, they just showed me. They just showed me an old conversation, but in a new way. So, oh boy, it might be challenging to get this out. Sometimes we will speak about things that are worrying us that we think the other person is thinking. They're not. And so then they become defensive, thinking you're thinking that about them. We are so silly. Oh, God. I had met somebody. We were having a great conversation. We were not talking about weight or weight loss or exercise or any of that. But out of nowhere, so in his mind, he was worried about his weight, but I didn't know that and I didn't think of it that way. So out of nowhere in our conversation, he talks about high intensity interval training and how it's so great. And almost like he's telling me, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get in shape this way. But I took it as, what are you saying? I need to do that? Because I'll get defensive. As women, we do. It's like we're always being judged. We're too big, we're too small, we're too this, we're too that. And so it's like, don't comment. Don't even comment. And so he was in his head worried about his weight, but I don't know that. And so when you start making a comment about weight, I think your ulterior motive is, are you suggesting I need to worry about my weight? Oh, God. And, oh, God. It's just funny the way they're showing it and explaining it this way to me now, seeing it this way now. But then hearing the conversation, how it played out, I think he had said, oh, and I heard about blah, 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 again, implying for himself. And my response was like, yeah, that's been out, right? Like almost like, don't you tell me how to do it. Because I didn't ask, right? Right? We get defensive when people are trying to help us. And we're assuming they're trying to help us when they tell us something that we're struggling with. When meanwhile, they had no idea we were struggling with this. They didn't give a fuck that we were struggling with this. They were struggling with it. And they thought because they were struggling with it and they were so sensitive about their weight that we looked at them and we too were worried about their weight, right? Like, it's like, oh my God, not at all. I'm worried about because we're always worried about ourselves, right? And, it's just such a funny conversation. It's funny how we are, right? It's like when we're in our own head and we're making assumptions, we're leaping all over the place. Yet when we can drop down out of our head, that conversation could have gone much smoother, right? Like, again, it wasn't even, I don't recall it being part of the conversation. It was like all of a sudden it jumped to that part of the conversation as if we were talking about exercise or weight loss when we weren't, or I don't believe we were. I don't recall that being the case. I remember being shocked by, how are we all of a sudden talking about this? And what are you implying? Why are we talking about this? Right? Are you suggesting I need to get it together? And again, the way they're showing me now, and who knows if this is the case or not, but they're just showing me this as an example, was no, he was worried about his own weight. And which does actually make sense in that he made a comment again later about his weight. I think he actually even called himself fat or something like that. And I would have never have thought that of this man. Tall, gorgeous man. Which I really don't believe, I don't think anybody would call him that. And yet, it's funny how we are distorted in our own mind on how we appear and how we appear to others. But I guess it also depends on who you surround yourself with. And he is tall, so he probably was slender a portion of his life, more slender than probably we would. It's interesting, right? I'm thinking he probably would be considered too slender, but for my liking. But because of his height, it was probably challenging for him to gain weight, right? But then he ends up gaining weight and to me looked healthy and normal. And he was so distorted in seeing himself so what I would call undernourished, that he then at what I would call normal, considered himself fat. Do you see how I'm saying? Do you see how we're all doing this? We're all doing this. And it is interesting. It's like so interesting how we will often perceive ourselves on how we perceive the other perceives us. It's like we're trying to see ourselves through the eyes of others. And it's like, why? Oh God, right? But we're all doing this. We're so fucking twisted down here instead of just living and loving. But it is challenging because we are looking outside our eyes. And if we're surrounding ourselves, yeah, that's interesting. I was just going to say we're surrounding ourselves with the opposing or different or whatever the case, and we've normalized it. We then start to question ourselves. Instead of just allowing everybody to make their choices, we start to compare. That is interesting. It's kind of like this whole Ozempic thing where I've said I do worry about it, not so much for the people themselves, not that I don't worry about them too, but I worry about it more for how it's going to affect all of us, right? Because if we start to normalize the skeleton look, because that's what'll happen. It's like eventually we will, that's what all of it always is. That's what anything that becomes the trend is what we start to normalize until we either get over it because it's simply a fad that wore out, that nobody kept up with it, or it becomes the new normal for such a time frame until people are sick of it. And then the opposing will pop up. And it'll be so refreshing or inviting, especially to those who couldn't fit into the fad, right? So it's like, you know how people got obsessed with having a huge ass, right? And so then that was like such a trend and people loved it. But then now it's the other extreme and it's like, well, what are they going to do with that big ass they have that they got implanted, right? It's like now they got to suck that out. But by the time they suck that out to get back in the new trend, well, shit, the big ass might be back in style. So if you're always chasing the trend or chasing what's outside of you or trying to conform or contort to what is, quote, the trend or what's happening now because you want to be part of the in crowd, you want to belong, you want to be part of the normal. Well, we have now normalized. We have now said this is the new normal. This is the classic. This is, and it's like classic, that's far from, but it's like, that's how it becomes like, oh, this is how it should be. This is how it should be according to whose rule book, right? Who's running this show down here? And so we all can get tripped up in this because we're looking outside our eyes, but then we have to determine what's going on in our head. What hinges are we making? What associations are we making? Are we associating it with us? Or are we just enjoying the view and like looking at the contrast and saying, oh, isn't that interesting? All the choices that are being made. It's, you know, if you're loving yourself and honoring yourself, it should have no hinge, right? You're already loving yourself, honoring yourself, eating best for you, exercising best for you, feeling best in your body. And so then when others pass by that are of a different whatever, it has no reflection on you. It shouldn't, it's like, oh, it's not even looking. It's like you don't necessarily even see it. But what? They're showing something different. But sometimes it's such a stark contrast. They are really showing something here that I'm having a hard time understanding or verbalizing. They keep showing like Hollywood. Like in Hollywood, or I'm saying that as if like I think what we think of like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in that world. I guess I think in my head of it, and I'm not in modeling either, but I'm thinking of it, it's like the modeling world where it is your size is what matters. I mean, it's critiqued, every last inch of you is. And it seems like they're relating the two together. It's something about this. feel like we talked about this way back when. It's, I think it's the idea of forced. I think it's the idea of forced comparison or forced competition, right? It's, or maybe forced is the wrong word, but it's almost hard not to fall prey to it. I'm really not sure what message they're trying to get out here, because they are showing like these two extremes, and I guess like somebody who's in it, and it's like why they all end up having, but I guess it's like, I'm saying that, but then I'm automatically thinking of all there's wonderful actors and actresses that I don't feel fall prey to that storyline. I really don't think they fall prey to it. They're not classically beautiful, and yet we all think of them as beautiful. We do. So what is, they're just the exception, they're not falling prey to it, or maybe they are and we just don't see it, right? Like maybe we just presume they're confident and we love that confidence in them, but you don't want to fake the confidence, and they're certainly not arrogant, or at least not what I see, because it's all a show, it's all an act, right? In other words, I'm not with these people to feel their energy, to know if it's true or not. And even that can be faked for a time. But I don't know what their point is. The only thing I can think is maybe their point in these extremes is it's harder in some cases, or it's harder in some situations. It's almost like I almost want to say, well, then don't put yourself in that situation. And yet, what if it's what they love, right? Like if they want to be, I was going to say, if they want to be an actor or an actress, then go do that. But you have to, I guess the idea is you have to want that more than you care about the comparison and the competing, and understand that there really are all the roles that need to be filled. And so when you're authentically yourself, which I guess is hard. I guess that's maybe the bad example, because actors aren't authentically themselves. I mean, they're literally playing somebody else. But I just mean accepting yourself, right? Like, in other words, if you're short and fat and bald, and you're like, but I wanted to be the tall, the skinny, like full head of hair. Well, that's not who you are. So accept your situation and love your situation, and know that there's a place for your situation. There's a role for that position. Do you see what I'm saying? I was going to say, and nowadays they put on masks and hair and everything else. So if your skill in your craft is so spectacular, then that doesn't matter either. They'll goose you up to look like the role, as long as your skill, your craft is the focus. Like, what are you there for? For the enjoyment of the craft, or for the perception of the people? Maybe that's it. Are you there for the enjoyment of the craft or the perception of the people? Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. And they're saying yes, and yet, okay, and yet, that can be forgotten. That can quickly be forgotten or dismissed. Yeah, I guess we do. We forget the why. We can get tripped up in the illusion and forget the why. Right, so you're there for that. They master their craft. They love what they do. They're focusing on what they do. But when they're getting no after no after no after no, they can start to think. They can start to mishinge. They can start to lie to themselves and say, oh, it's because I'm short and fat and bald. Do you know what I mean? Like, they can start to, woe is me. And then the more they woe is me, the more they believe it, the more it comes true, the more they're proving themselves right, the more they hate themselves, and the endless cycle continues on. And it sucks, because that does suck. That loop sucks. And it's hard to get out of one's own way when spiraling that way. So what is your point with all this? We know all this. Maybe it's simply, maybe this long-winded is simply remember your why. See, all of this boils back down to the same thing for me. It's like anything and everything we do, we have to start off by loving you, right? You have to start off by loving you and accepting you and knowing you and being authentically you. And that, I think, is enough of a challenge for all of us. That in itself is enough of a challenge for all of us. It's like, forget everything else. Just fucking forget everything else. Just start each day focusing on that, accepting yourself, loving yourself, being authentically you. It's like get through the day being just you. So that it's like because the more you're able to do that, the more you'll draw in it's like authentic people or, I swear they're doing a lot of, it's because as soon as I said that, they said you also, the more you do that, it is the moth to a flame. So you're drawing in authentic people, but it's harder for them to get to you because of all the moths around you. But you have no choice but to continue burning bright. Otherwise, they'll never be able to find you or get to you. Right? So it's like other authentic people have to recognize the light underneath all the moths. It's like they have to keep moving towards the light too. It's something about all this. Remembering the why, going towards the light. It's like all the same. It's the sayings you always hear, but it's also true when you break it down this way. You maybe can hear it better. Or remember what the meaning was, what the phrase or the saying was implying. I still am not getting out. There's something here they still want me to get out of, which I am challenged by, clearly. It's like I feel like they're like fighting for somebody's excuse book is what it feels like. It does. It feels like they're trying to portray to me why somebody else is having a challenging time. Did I say that right? Yeah, they're saying yes. Okay. Well, so you are trying to explain to me somebody else's excuse book? What are you reading their excuse book to me? Do you know what I mean? It's like, we all got them. If we're exchanging books here, do you want to hear my list of excuse book? Like, well, what's your point? Right? Like, we have to get out of our own way. We all have challenges and struggles. I think it comes back to the why. I think it comes back to what they had said earlier. It's like, what's more important, your craft? I don't know, I forget how they said it, but it's like, what's more important, your craft or how you're perceived by others? Like, are you doing it for the enjoyment of, let's just continue with this simple example of, do you enjoy doing it because you enjoy the acting, the play, right? Like enjoying playing the characters, the enjoyment of acting. See, I don't know enough about it to know the correct terms, so forgive me, but like, right, to like play these roles, to enjoy acting out all these characters, do you enjoy that craft of it, that excitement of portraying and playing? It's playing, like they're having a good time playing, but they're mastering it. They've mastered play, but to such a beautiful degree. And so, or are you doing it more for something else, to get attention, to get accolades, to get da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That is interesting. It's interesting they're using this as an example because that is very true, right? Like so many people have seen incredible actors and actresses, right? It's like the breakout stars we love. And then they want to be that. But why do you want to be that? Because you want to play too? That you want to get good at your craft? Or because you want the attention they're getting, the money they're getting, you think it's easy. Oh, maybe that's what they're showing. Right? Like I also think of acting and modeling as probably two of the toughest career choices to choose. You almost would think, who in the fuck in their right mind would choose those? Right? It's like we're all judging ourselves so much to begin with. I don't need everybody else judging me nonstop, right? It's like we're already harshly criticizing ourselves enough, but then to be in careers that, that's what you get all day long is judged. You are judged all day long from from sun up to sundown, right? Like, you're picked apart. And so to willingly, voluntarily go into those positions, you either have to be wide awake and strong as fuck and really love that craft, or it is like you'll get eaten alive. Because who can withstand the 10 million no's before the one single yes? And that one single yes might fizzle out to nothing. So it's like, you better really love that. But we've talked about that before. Like, I have a friend who, he ended up creating his own company, and he has his own group of actors and actresses. And so in other words, they get to do their craft. They get to play all the time. They get to enjoy what they're doing without having the constant no's. They just jump in and play, right? And it's like, I've used him as an example before because I think it's such a genius, brilliant way to enjoy life. It's like, instead of waiting for life to happen for him, he took the reins, right? And it's like, he's doing life. And so it's that example we talk about all the time. And we have to make those hard choices ourselves, which is it's no easy feat, right? Like, it's not easy to just do that, right? It's like, it's still a lot of work. It's still a lot that goes into it. So it's like, which struggle do you want? It's like the one can see, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I guess it's each individual person, because you could argue it either way. It's like, you could, like I've used in other examples, like, you could, one could perceive one wasting one's life away being a waiter or waitress while they try out for every gig in town and spend their entire life and career being waiters and waitresses and trying out every gig in town, crossing and hoping that one day, and then they wake up at 80 and go, well, I tried. Or they can be like, fuck this. I'm going to make it happen for me. I'm going to start my own company. I'm going to gather up all these other actors and actresses I know. We're going to start doing our plays. We're going to have a local theater. We're going to start partaking and participating. We're going to, and it's for the love of the craft and getting better at it, and maybe getting paid menials, so still having to have the side jobs, but it's still doing the craft, right? It's like, what are you in it for? And what is easier for you? What is more enjoyable for you, right? Like, some people might say, no, that's just way too hard and challenging. I actually would rather just waiter and waitress for the rest of my life on a hope and a wish and a prayer and keep trying out. And I'm totally, just using these broad strokes. I know it's never that simple. And sometimes it is. I hope I got out. I feel like I didn't. I feel like there's more here, but I have stuff to do. So we might have to untangle this one later. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.